My name is Richard, and I was going to kill my wife and my brother. I had the gun, I had the plan, but fate got there first and did it better than I ever could.
Wow.
Yeah, that's quite the opening line. It really sets the stage for what we're exploring today.
It absolutely does. Chilling stuff.
We're doing a deep dive into Richard's own story, his account of how his marriage just completely fell apart. It involves betrayal, thoughts of revenge, and then something totally unexpected happened.
Yeah, and that quote, it just hangs there, doesn't it? The desperation, the anger, makes you instantly want to know, how did he get to that point? And what exactly was this intervention from fate?
Exactly. So our mission here is to unpack this really intense personal story, look at the emotions, the betrayals, and this bizarre twist right at the end.
It sounds like a powerful narrative, a relationship gone terribly, terribly wrong.
Richard starts by painting this picture, of his life with Claire after 24 years. On the surface, it looked, well, normal. He talks about kids, a dog, weekend barbecues, and matching gray bathrobes. You can picture it, right?
Yeah, the standard suburban life.
But then he contrasts that with the reality. He says they basically become roommates over the last couple of years.
Oh.
No hugs, no late night laughter, just quiet dinners and colder mornings. He actually says he'd sort of started to accept it.
Accept it? How?
And he thought maybe this was just normal for long marriages. Boring but stable, familiar.
That's interesting, like a kind of emotional giving up, almost. Maybe burying things deep down.
Could be. Makes you wonder what else was going on under the surface, even before the big reveal.
Definitely. On both sides, perhaps.
So the thing that changes everything,
Yeah.
it's Claire's phone. She left it unlocked.
Ah, the classic.
And he sees this message from his own brother, Jake.
His brother. Oh, no.
Yeah. The message said, "You were wild last night. I almost couldn't keep quiet. Same time Friday."
Oof. That's brutal.
Richard describes how he just froze. He said, "My heart stopped for a second. Then, curiosity, dread." He looked through the whole chat.
And found more.
Oh, yeah. More messages, photos, even jokes about hiding it all. Confirmation.
Wow. The brother element just... It makes the betrayal so much worse, doesn't it? It's not just a spouse, it's family. Someone you should trust implicitly.
Totally. He talks a bit about Jake. Calls him the golden boy, 2 years older, always the favorite.
Uh-huh. Sibling dynamics.
He says, "My mother used to say, be more like Jake. Even my friends liked him more." He felt like he lived in Jake's shadow.
Right. That adds such a painful layer.
He says, "But I never imagined he'd steal my wife." He remembers seeing Claire right after finding out, thinking about the same mouth that had whispered to Jake the night before. Said he felt sick.
Understandable. Completely. Did he confront her then?
No. That's the turn. He didn't confront them. Instead, he says, "I started collecting."
Collecting evidence.
Exactly. Collecting proof.
Okay, that decision. Not confronting them immediately, but gathering evidence. That says a lot. It suggests maybe a need for control. Or just wanting to know the full extent before reacting.
Maybe both. And it hints that his reaction, when it came, might be more calculated.
Right, not just an explosion of anger.
So this collecting becomes full-on surveillance. He puts a GPS tracker on her car,
Wow.
monitors her phone logs. He even follows them to this cheap hotel, films them.
He filmed them.
Yeah. He says, filming her, getting in his car, giggling like a teenager. My hands shook, but I kept filming.
That's intense. The emotional toll of doing that must have been huge.
You'd think so. He puts all this stuff, screenshots, recordings, messages, into a folder. And he names it. Get this, anniversary gift.
Oh, that's dark. Really dark.
And inside that folder, he finds this exchange. Jake asks Claire, "Do you think he suspects?" And Claire replies,
What?
"He's too blind to notice."
Ouch. That specific line.
Well, yeah.
Too blind to notice. That must have felt like twisting the knife. Absolute humiliation.
Yeah, Richards thought, "No, I wasn't blind, just waiting."
Waiting. Okay, the calculation's becoming clearer.
And all this time, while he's gathering this stuff, he's acting normal at home.
Playing the part.
Completely. "I even pretended. I kissed her forehead, cooked dinner, played the perfect husband."
While secretly plotting.
He says, all while imagining their faces at the moment I raised the gun.
We got a gun.
Yeah. Bought one, no papers, kept it hidden. His whole focus became just patience.
This is escalating significantly. The contrast between the facade and the inner reality is, well, it's terrifying.
He describes sitting in his car, watching them at the hotel, seeing them together.
That must have been agony.
He said she was laughing. She touched his arm. He kissed her cheek. I gripped the steering wheel so hard my knuckles turned white.
You can feel the rage just building.
Absolutely. The raw pain driving those vengeful thoughts.
So he comes up with a plan for their 25th anniversary weekend.
The anniversary gift folder makes sense now.
Right. They always met on Fridays. The anniversary was Saturday. So Friday, he planned to catch them, red-handed, as he puts it.
And the gun.
His plan was just walk in, see them, just pull the trigger twice, and then silence.
My God. He'd thought it through that far.
Right.
Yeah. He'd even thought about what came after. Maybe suicide, maybe just waiting for the police. He says, but I didn't care. Nothing mattered anymore.
He's clearly reached a breaking point. Consumed by rage, seeing no other way out of the pain, it's a very dangerous place to be.
Extremely. But then, things take a completely unexpected turn. 3 days before he planned to do it.
Fate steps in, like the opening quote said.
Exactly. Late one night, doorbell rings. It's the police.
Oh no, what news?
They say, Mr. Richards, I'm sorry to inform you, your wife was in a fatal car accident tonight. Your brother Jacob was driving. He didn't survive either.
What? Both of them? Together?
Both of them. In the same car. Gone.
That's unbelievable, the timing.
Richard says his first reaction was just numbness. Then this voice in his head, you don't have to do it anymore.
Wow, relief.
And then he says, I laughed. I couldn't stop.
Laugh!
Yeah. But he describes it as the kind of laugh that comes after months of bottled up rage. Not joyful, just released.
That's disturbing. But maybe understandable in a twisted way. Shock, disbelief, maybe that perverse sense of release you mentioned. It's incredibly complex.
Utterly complex.
Yeah.
So the thing he was planning to do, fate or chance or whatever you want to call it, did it first.
The ultimate irony.
He talks about identifying the bodies, how surreal it was. The orderly apparently said something like, they likely didn't feel a thing. That truck hit them hard.
A small, strange comfort, perhaps.
He even went to the crash site later. Noticed Claire's coffee cup was somehow intact in the wreckage.
Huh. Odd detail to notice.
Then he went home and deleted the anniversary gift folder. Just gone.
Wiped the evidence he never needed.
And then came this strange kind of, I don't know, aftermath. There was insurance money.
Ah, practicalities kick
He
in.
used it to renovate the house, repaint, sold Claire's car, bought a motorcycle he had always wanted, things he couldn't or wouldn't do before.
Right. A sort of reclaiming of his life, maybe? Through material things, initially?
Maybe. He went to the funeral, played the grieving husband and brother, but inside, just grappling with how bizarre everything was.
I can only imagine. The conflicting emotions must have been overwhelming.
He mentions taking their wedding rings to a lake and throwing them in. A symbolic gesture.
Letting go.
And he thinks, now I didn't have to kill anyone. The universe did it for me. He actually wonders if this was some kind of justice.
Twisted justice, maybe. That's a heavy thought. Does he find any peace after that?
Well, his journey wasn't quite over. He started volunteering at a trauma support group.
Okay, that's a positive step. Connecting with others.
Yeah, he found he could relate to people who'd experienced loss, betrayal. Someone there gave him a pen, told him to write.
Therapy through writing.
Seems like it. He wrote letters he never sent, just poured it all out. It helped him process.
That makes sense, finding an outlet.
His final thought in the account is really something. He says, even though it sounds twisted, he feels like he was saved.
Saved by the accident.
Saved by fate. Cruel, sudden, ugly fate, he calls it. But he says, I'll take it because it gave me back my life. And sometimes, that's justice too.
Wow, what a conclusion. It leaves you with so much to think about, doesn't it? Fate, justice, survival.
Definitely. So let's try and analyze these characters a bit. Richard obviously goes to this huge arc, from feeling trapped to vengeful, then to this state of, well, complicated relief.
Right, the betrayal breaks him initially, fuels the violence, but the accident seems to force a different kind of reckoning. He finds a strange path forward.
And Claire, we only see her through his lens, remember?
Crucially important point, yes.
Through his eyes, she seems like someone looking for excitement, maybe underestimating him, underestimating the consequences. Her breaking point ultimately is the crash.
We don't know her side, her struggles, her real feelings. That's missing.
And Jake, similarly, is portrayed as the betrayer, the golden boy who took what wasn't his. His breaking point is also the accident.
Again, seen through Richard's very hurt and angry perspective, selfish and opportunistic is how he comes across in this account.
Okay, so reflecting on all this, it brings up some tough questions for you, the listener. First one, do you think Richard actually got justice here? Or was it all just a terrible, tragic coincidence?
That's a big one. Justice implies some sort of moral balancing, doesn't it? Coincidence is just chance. Where do you draw the line?
Good point. Second question. Looking back, before the affair was discovered, could Richard have done anything differently? Given his emotional state, his feeling of resignation, were there other paths he might have taken earlier?
That delves into the what ifs of relationships, doesn't it? Could communication have changed things? Therapy? Or was the breakdown too deep by then? Hard to say.
Very hard. And finally, how does this ending, this intervention by fate, change how you see Richard? His plan was horrific, but he didn't carry it out. Does the ending redeem him in any way, or does it just make the whole story more complex and unsettling?
Yeah, does being saved from committing murder change the fact that he intended to? Does it change his fundamental character, or just the outcome? These aren't easy questions with simple answers.
Not at all. They really dig into morality, fate, human nature.
Absolutely. Richard's story forces you to confront some uncomfortable aspects of betrayal, revenge, and how people cope with extreme emotional pain.
Well, lots to think about there. If this story moved you or made you think, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube.